Why does the dating market feel broken today? There's a lot of people talking a lot of different types of advices. Funny way to put it. Funny types of different ways, basically, that people talk about this thing we all call the dating market. And the whole thing. Oh, welcome back. I get a B that just comes on my yeah, there he is. Comes on my thingy. Don't know if you can see him. I'll just move the thing. He's down there. There. And he comes over every single time I record a video. And I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just I smell nice, or I look good, or I don't know what it is, But regardless, he came to pay his respect. So we will say thank you, Mr. B, which is kind of funny because that's the nickname people give me when I'm out in public and they don't want to say my full name. Regardless, so why does the dating market feel broken? Well, the problem is right now there's a lot of different people giving a lot of different takes on a lot of different things, right? And so what ends up happening is that there are people that get inundated, I guess is the right word, by a lot of different ideas, from anywhere from the red pill to the blue pill to the black pill, whatever you want to call this. People that come up with their own idea as to how things work. And then they commute in groups of people. And I remember when I first started getting on self-improvement, I used to be the guy that was way more into the red pill kind of stuff. And now I don't actually care anymore. Let me explain to you a little bit about how I went from going all the way into red pill and now being just like myself. I understand that there are people that are going to want to be part of these groups. It's kind of like religion at the end of the day. People join religious groups because they want to be part of a collective. And this is literally the same thing when you actually think about it. People join the red pill to be part of a group, the people that have the same ideas that they have. They want to feel part of the group. They want to feel accepted by people that have the same ideas they have. So that way it reinforces these ideas in their mind. It's like, other people believe this, so it must be true. And so when you do what I did, which is go into these different types of groups and see for yourself what's happening there so you can make up your own mind and come to your own conclusions, you come to the conclusion that these groups actually aren't really that authentic. Like, most of them have a few, it's kind of like politics or religion as well. Most groups have a lot of different things that make a lot of sense, a lot of good points, but they also have a lot of points that don't make any sense. And so there's never really a middle ground where both sides have any at all 100% good points and 0% bad points. Like, I don't think I know a single religious group or a single political group that is like that. Because at the end of the day, I've never been persuaded that religion makes sense that I practice it. Like, I understand what it is for. I understand the purpose of religion. I understand why people need God and need this explanation. as to why things have happened. But I don't need to do it myself, right? It's like everybody is free to choose whatever they might want to choose. And what I really dislike is people like within the red pill or the blue pill dating community that just push their ideology onto other people. And they say like, oh no, this is truth, this is fact. And regardless of which side it may be, it's fucking annoying. Because I just want to be myself at the end of the day. I just want to be a good guy that just does nice things, that is a gentleman, that is self-respecting, and that doesn't tolerate bullshit. That's what I want to do at the end of the day. I've always been more of the kind of chivalrous guy ever since I was a kid. Like, it just made sense. It makes me feel good to do those acts. I personally don't really put myself in any side whatsoever. And I do prefer thinking of myself as women is the only thing I like. In terms of like dating, I'm very traditionally focused. My parents were like pretty much a very like regular, I guess, household when you actually think about it. Very traditional. My mother was very traditional. My dad, I guess, not as much, more influenced by the modern day. But at the end of the day, I had both parents growing up, even though at a certain point they got separated. I still had that sense of traditional values at home. And so it kind of makes sense, right? So to me, it only made sense as to going all the way into that, because that's kind of like just the environment that I was raised in. And so since personally that makes a lot of sense to me, then for you, in that case, you would need to look at, is the person I was in the environment I grew up in someone I would prefer being in the future, or was that such a negative experience that I'm going to have to experience a lot of different things in order to find what it is I truly want and I truly vibe with, in terms of like relationship status, family status, if you want kids or not, all that sort of stuff. And so realistically, not only do you have to come up with the idea yourself, but I found that being authentic and being original can bypass a lot of different people's take on modern dating. I personally know that I'm in it for myself at the end of the day, but I want to give as much as possible, to give my best to the people around me. Now, what does that mean? What does that look like? Well, whenever I'm doing something, I want people to feel like their best version when they are around me. I don't want them to feel like shit after they had a chat with me. I don't want them to feel like I was the most important person they've ever talked to. I don't really want that. I used to think like that, but now that I understand how people think and how the world works, I don't think that's a good idea to be so selfish as to say, I'm the best and you're all fucking losers. Like, there's no point. Like, nobody wants to hear that. It can help in certain circumstances, I guess, but really depends. So, at the end of the day, personally, I found creating my own original, authentic side to things has just made the most amount of sense. I'll take what makes sense out of the blue pill. I'll take what makes sense out of the red pill. And I'll combine everything and understand in my own way, my own perspective, as to how and what I want out of both, if that makes sense to you. So in that case, that was my solution as to not being in a as much broken dating market as per se. I haven't been in a lot of relationships in the past because I've been extremely selective of the people I've, I guess, come in contact with over the past years. Never been in a relationship in high school, never been in a relationship in university or after graduation, I guess. Only been in a couple relationships after I left university and I guess grew up mentally, because I kind of went towards like understanding better about like what I wanted, what were my standards, understanding everything, mapping out everything. I went to a through a journey, like made a couple videos on the subject where I gave you guys a few of the systems that I used in order to figure out my dating standards and understand like how would I do, who would I pick, why, all these sorts of things, asking as many questions as possible so that way I can get down to the root of who I want to be with and who makes the most amount of sense. Like for instance, my last relationship, the one I was talking about maybe like a couple months ago, the person decided to go to a training course that lasted for like 3 months to change careers or whatever. And so she needed to fly away and take the plane and go somewhere else. And so what ended up happening is she wasn't really reciprocating what I wanted. And so instead of pursuing her as much as a regular guy would do, I was just like, you know what, I'm just gonna give this person a little bit of energy because I kind of care, but it's good that I got the experience from her, but at the end of the day, she wasn't the one for me. Like there was no emotional connection, there was no, I didn't really feel the spark, if you know what I mean. Like it was a good like experience, but I wasn't like mentally anywhere where I really cared. Like it felt a little bit too much like pretending that I cared, which didn't really sit right with me. So I entertained the relationship for a little bit because I'd never really been in a really decent relationship over the past few years. So I was like, you know what, this might be a good idea for now. But it came to the conclusion, I was like, you know what, if this person isn't going to reciprocate and ask me first to do stuff, I'm just gonna not do anything. So for the last week before she left, I spent a little bit of time with her, but after that I was just like, you know what, it's fine. If she decides to leave, that's her decision. I can't really force her to do anything. It's a very competitive market, so if she finds someone better than I am, then good for her. I'm fine with that. Whatever she wants to do, that's her decision. But if she decides to go with someone else, then I'm good. Like, let go. See you later. See you never. And so I created this kind of persona of like the gentleman, self-respecting guy that dates within his standards. And so I don't just date anybody, right? I'm very selective. It's funny because it looks nothing. Like my dating standards look very similar to like a traditional Christian dating standards, or like maybe even a traditional Muslim. But I'm neither of those religions. I'm not really religious myself. Like I understand the place for religion, but I'm kind of stuck in the middle of the people I vibe the most with are the religious people, but I don't want to be religious. So it's a bit of a weird position to be in. And so The dating market, you might think, oh, it's broken, it doesn't work for me, oh, I feel like shit, these people are not really the right fit for me, and blah, 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 and keep complaining about it. But at the end of the day, the best thing you can do is become better yourself and become better at picking the person. If you keep sleeping with a bunch of people, your pair bonding ability goes down. And every single time you sleep with an additional person, the next time you sleep with another person, the potential possibility of creating a bond with that person is basically lowered by default, which is not a good thing. Because if you actually want to create a family in the future, have kids and everything, you would want to, I hope, you would want to have a relationship that is strong. The person cares about you and is there for you. You know what I mean? And you feel that emotional connection with them. I personally have, throughout all the relationships that I've been in, I've never had that emotional connection. So I don't know if I'm even capable of having that. Because the closest thing, I guess most of you guys can probably relate to this. Most of the connections I've had that were good in terms of feminine values were with my mother or women family members. That's it. As simple as that is. Nobody really fits the bill. It's strange, but it is what it is. And so it makes sense that I'm more attracted towards those traditional, more family orientated people, because those are the people that I've spent the most time with in terms of my environment, and that I was raised in as well. So take some time to understand where you were raised, what kind of environment, what kind of person you would like to have. Take some time to really sit down with a piece of paper. Not that many people actually do this, or with your notes app on iPhone or what kind of phone you have, and really dot down what kind of standards do you have, what kind of person do you want to be with, and what would that person want in a partner, and then become that, so that way you have a high likelihood of finding who you want to be with. Because I believe men should still should still take the first move, but I don't think pursuing women or chasing women or going up to them and saying hey, you're beautiful, give me your number. I don't think that works. I've done it before, and every single time the women I go out with, when I do that, they were just very shallow and very non-interesting. So when you actually think about it, you need to be the kind of person that is strong enough in their own beliefs, strong enough in their own personality and who they are, to sit down and map out everything, to understand and really define who you are and what you want, and what does that person that you want as well. Because it's all about empathy. If you know for sure, if you can put yourself in the shoes of the other person and be okay, this is how they think, so I'm going to be the best person for them, in that case, you can do a lot of things with that. And so, at the end of the day, if you look good, you feel good, you take care of yourself, and you love yourself before going into a relationship, you'll always have the leg up over the other person. And so if they leave, you won't really care. It might be annoying if you had a couple year long-term relationship, but if the person doesn't really fit your standards, you need to have enough self-respect and decency to cut it off, even if it's hard. Whatever it may be, you have the power and control over your own life to do what you want to do. You don't need to let the dating market feel broken. You aren't approaching it as best you can. That is your problem. That is your responsibility. And you have to do what is best for yourself. Nobody's going to do it for you. That's what I've learned. And so, I hope you guys have learned something important or useful today in this video. because I record these videos every single day for that very purpose. So I hope this was useful for one of you guys at least, and I appreciate every single one of you guys watching until the end of the video. As per usual, if you have any topic recommendations, chuck those in the comments. If you want me to give you some advice, some feedback, or if you have any questions on something specific, feel free to ask me in the chat or in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you tomorrow in the next one. See ya, and have a great day.